Hello everyone, this is Sarah from Wake Tech Media Production, and today I'm going to give you a very brief crash course overview of how to create educational videos using your iOS mobile devices. So this is your iPhones and your iPads. We'll be discussing Android in a separate video. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. In order to record videos on your mobile devices, it's as simple as using the camera app. All you have to do is just tap camera. And pretty much with that, you can switch it into video mode and just hit the big red dot in order to record your video. And once you are done, it will save automatically to your photos. Once you have your video recorded via the camera app, all then that you need is to just use the iMovie app in order to edit your videos. Now, iMovie is very convenient because it is provided by Apple for free for all of their iOS devices. And it's pretty comprehensive and pretty powerful. It should already be on your device, but just in case it is not, you can go to the App Store and just look up iMovie, and you can download it to your device free of charge. So let's go ahead and jump right into iMovie. In order to activate it, you just tap the app, and that brings up the projects window that you see here, and you just tap Create Project, and we're going to want to create a movie for your edited video, and here it will access your camera roll pretty much by date. And for this, I went ahead and pre-recorded myself for a very brief video. And then you don't have to select just one, but if you're doing a simple video, I recommend just pick one video and just edit that one. I'll show you how to do multiple videos in a moment. But once you have the videos you selected, just select Create Movie. And you'll see it goes ahead and puts your video on a timeline that you can then edit. And one of the nice things with iMovie is that it is very simple and straightforward to use. You don't need to be an editing expert to figure it out. So say you've recorded an intro video of yourself going over what's going to be happening this week in class. And say the first part you messed up, and also a part in the middle you messed up, and you want to trim the end. In order to trim the beginning and the end of a video in iMovie, it's very simple. You just tap the video, and then you simply drag the areas that you want to get rid of. So with that, you can then just get rid of what you don't want. The same applies for the end as well. Tap the video and then simply drag away the stuff that you don't want to appear in your video. So that with that, you can just do very simple videos with pretty much just that. Now, say you messed up in the middle and you want to get rid of that section as well. It's also very straightforward. So let's just say, oh, I want to get rid of this part. I want to get rid of that part. So to do it, again, you just tap the video, and you'll see with the yellow bounding box, you'll see these options along the bottom. And the first one, which is the actions, which is the little scissors, you'll see over there the text that says split. All you have to do is just hit split, and now you will have cut it into two separate pieces. Now, in order to get rid of the piece you don't like, you have two options. One, you could do the same as you did for trimming the beginning and the end and simply drag away the stuff you don't want. Or if, say, there's this long section you want to get rid of, you can simply drag your timeline again to the end point that you want to get rid of, click split again, show it on this one, and then simply tap the section you don't want in your video and hit delete. And there you go. It's already taken care of. So with that, you have a pretty basic idea of what editing is all about, is simply just chopping up videos like you see right there. And iMovie provides you a few extra options in order to make your videos even better. And we will very briefly go over some of the extra features that iMovie can do. One are these transitions. So say you have two separate clips, and the default is for it to just, if you split a video, is for it to cut from one to the other. And that's fine. If you wish to change your transition, though, you can. The most common one I recommend is the dissolve one. This is essentially, it fades from one to the other. And it is pretty convenient. I highly recommend it for almost all of the edits. You do have other options if you wish, but we're not really going to go into them too much, but just know that they're available if you want them. So for other things that you can do to your video, if you just select your video so that it has the yellow bounding box, in addition to the split option that we saw before, we also have this detach audio and duplicate options as well. And on the iPhone, the delete one's up there as well. And honestly, for those, you're probably not going to need them, but they are available. Detach audio is more if you want to use your audio but want to change the video to something else. And for duplicate, it's exactly as it sounds. It's just duplicating. We also have the speed option, which will allow you to speed up or slow down your video. This, again, you probably aren't going to need. Another is the volume, is if you've recorded yourself a little too loudly or a little too softly. This lets you adjust that and fix it. We also have the titles option here, and this is if you want to add text on top of your video. Be aware that if you put the title on, it will be on the entire duration of the individual clip, so you can't make it disappear quickly. And you also have the center option and the lower option. So they're available. You may or may not want to use them. It's just up to you. We also have the filters option, and this is more if you want to have a more social media type look to your video. It's pretty much just optional. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Another more optional, but it's available just so that you're aware of, is the project settings, which is this little cog that's up there on the iPad and down there on the iPhone. And pretty much this kind of also has the filters available. It has some themes available if you want to add a little spruce to your video, but again, very optional. Wouldn't worry too much about it. There's a soundtrack option if you want to add music, the fade in or fade out to black, but again, these are all pretty much optional things. So let's say you're pretty pleased with how your video is coming along so far, but you wanted to add a little something extra, whether it's another video clip you forgot, or a photo, or even an audio. In order to do that, all you have to do is just tap this little plus button, and that brings up sort of your media bin. And here you'll see you have different options of the different types of files you can grab. I personally recommend just using Moments because that pretty much lists everything alphabetically. So let's say I want to grab this photo right here. All you have to do is just hit the plus sign, and it adds it to your timeline just like that, dependent on where your playhead is, which is the little white line that you see in the center. And it'll just add it right there. And it doesn't have to just be photos. It can be pretty much anything that you have in your bin. We do also have audio options as well, though this is more if you want to add music or sound effects. I actually don't really recommend doing this when you're first getting started. This is more if you're more advanced and want to give your videos an extra flair. One thing to be aware of, when you put photos into iMovie, it adds what they call this Ken Burns effect. So this is where it kind of has it pan around a little bit, which makes the photo look a little better. But if you wish to turn that off, all you have to do is tap it and see where it says Ken Burns enabled. Just tap it and it will then be disabled and your picture won't move. If you wish to reposition your picture, you can just drag it to wherever it needs to be in your video, and it will still make sure it fills up the whole video, but you can zoom in and just leave it in this mode and you'll be good to go. Now, let's say for some reason you accidentally forgot to record either some video or some audio that's needed for your video to be complete. Well, another cool feature for iMovie is that it actually does allow you to record extra video or audio that you can then insert into the timeline. So on the iPad, you have this little camera app right here, and on the iPhone, you go back to the plus sign where it says camera, and it brings up the camera. And with these, you can just record the section that you need. And then when you're done, you just stop recording. and it will ask you if you want to retake or use the video. We're just going to tap use video, and it'll add it right to the timeline. So with this, you can add on extra video even if you forgot to record it in advance, which is a very big advantage. And it also has the same for audio. So say you have a bunch of pictures in your library or your PowerPoint that's been converted to images in your camera roll, and you want to do a voiceover for that. You easily can by doing on the iPad, the little microphone where it gives you this little ready to record, and on the iPhone, you could do voiceover, and you see it gives you a similar thing, and you can just hit record, and it'll give you a little countdown, and you can go ahead and do some audio recording. This is just some sampling, and then when you're done, you just tap stop, and then when you're done, you can just hit accept, and you see it added it to the end. And what you can do is say, oh, I want to move this. All you have to do is just tap and hold, and you can move your audio recording wherever you need it to be. And that's the same with video as well. Say, oh, I want to move this video to over there. Just tap and hold the video, and you can move it around. Do that on the iPhone as well. And depending on where your audio is, it may or may not join your video. But you can move stuff around as you need to. Just drag it, just tap, hold, and you can drag it around to where you need it to be. So one other feature to mention that iMovie does have is if you do something and you realize you made a mistake, there is an undo button, which is the little arrow with the swoop in the right hand over there. One thing to be aware of is there doesn't seem to be a redo button. So if you hit undo and it gets rid of something, it's gone. You need to then re-record if you accidentally undo away your video recording. But it's there if in case you accidentally delete something and you need it back. So with that, you kind of pretty much have all you need to know to get started with iMovie to do editing. The last step is exporting your movie, and that's very simple to do. When you're finished and you're satisfied with your video, you just have to hit done, and you see that you're given these options here to either go back and edit it, or along the bottom we have the play option, so you can play and preview your movie, the share option, which is the square with the arrow pointing up, or the delete, which is the trash can. So in order to share the video, you just have to hit the share button. And with that, you're given a couple of options. You can either export it directly to YouTube if you have a YouTube channel that you want to upload it to, or you can save your video directly to your device in its camera roll, where then you can upload it to whatever website you want, whether it be Blackboard or some other video sharing service. So when you're done, we could just go ahead as a sample, show you with YouTube, and you can see it gives you your name. You can list as unlisted, the size. You will need to log into an account, your YouTube account, in order to access it, which we won't bother with today. But it's a very straightforward and simple process, and this is an easy way to get your videos up and ready to go without ever needing to leave your mobile device. And then when you're ready to create any new videos, you can just go the projects button and just tap the plus to create as many movies or videos that you need in order to best serve your students. If you find yourself running low on space on your device, I recommend once a video is complete, download a copy so that you can keep it, but then delete the other extra files because video files do get very large. So with that, I think we'll wrap things up for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about creating mobile video, feel free to reach out to Media Production and Learning Support if you are Wake Tech faculty or staff. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely day.